So, Ukraine, the U.S. is refusing to train more F-16 pilots for the Ukrainian armed forces until they can get more pilots, more people that could pilot these planes. And the reason why is I'm speculating is so that they can actually operate as a force as opposed to just a scattering of pilots, right, or scattering of jets. And obviously, this again shows the manpower shortage that Ukraine is suffering, and and of course this obviously slows them down if they're not training pilots, if they're slowing down the number of pilots that they're going to train for these fighters. So again, this is showing that Ukraine is certainly not winning the war, right? Russia, although doesn't have the quality, from my understanding, they don't have the quality or the numbers of an air force that the U.S. has. Nonetheless, they too also have a matrix of defense, of air defenses over eastern Ukraine. So, and I've spoken about this quite a bit. Obviously, the United States has no business being involved in this conflict. And, at the end of this, because of the manpower shortage, it's obvious that Ukraine is losing the war. They're suffering casualties that they can't easily replace or cannot replace. And they're already sending foreign troops. France explicitly has forces in Ukraine. And I mean, of course, the escalation is being done by the West, obviously. Russia is trying to operate very slowly. They're trying to do it to not escalate the problem, but they're also saving their forces in case there's a multi-vectored attack in Russia, probably. I'm speculating on this. So, what is this all going to look like at the end of this? Because the West cannot win this war. What does the end game look like? Are they going to continue this conflict just continue this as a frozen conflict to have a demilitarized zone within Ukraine? What does this look like? What does the end goal look like? The establishment wants to hurt Russia. They want to slow down the Russians. They want to kill as many Russians as possible by destroying Ukraine in the process. Obviously Ukraine, they can't produce enough pilots that are willing to fly an F-16, in a country of, I believe is the second most populous country in Europe. Originally, before the war, they had 70-something million people. Something like 70 million people in that country, which surpasses the population of Germany. Only Russia has a larger population of like 145 million or something like that. But, that just goes to show you that, like I said, it's a losing situation for everybody. This is not a winning situation for Russia. Russia's economy has suffered a bit during the sanctions. Of course, they found ways around the sanctions. Ukraine is certainly not a beneficiary. The people of the West, the working classes of the West, do not benefit from this. They're actually hurting, especially in Europe. And it's only the elite. What is this going to look like? And it actually makes you wonder about what kind of a desperate situation they are going to be going into these elections in Europe and in the United States. It makes me think that the West is going to be so desperate that they may just start World War III. They can detonate a nuclear weapon in Europe or in the United States and say Russia did it, perhaps. Who knows? Economic collapse is a possibility. I personally think that they're going to stage a bunch of terrorist attacks and say that it's going to be Trump supporters and do something like that. But very dangerous situation that the elite have gotten themselves in. They've actually backed themselves in a corner on this one.